universal education. We speak of education as a right of a child. We speak of universal education today. We talk of compulsory education today. We send all our children to schools. That is, the UN has played a key role in that. Children's rights, the CRC, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. As a child, I didn't even know I had rights. I'm sure that's the case with many of you. But today, every child knows, you and we adults also know that children do have rights. Before, when we were young, when our parents were young, when our grandparents were young, children were not even thought to be persons. They were there. They had to. They had no rights. They had duties, but they had no rights. But we have come to realize today, thanks to the UN, that children have rights. We also realized, and today we speak of human rights as though it has been there for all the time. No, it has been there for all the time, but it was the UN which made us realize that each of us, anybody who's born a human being, has a certain right, whether man, woman, third gender, child, anybody, a physically challenged person, a mentally challenged person, all of us have human rights, and that's what the UN did to us. Gay rights, it's something that we are becoming more and more aware of today, that just because you have been born different, you cannot be denied your rights. Fighting AIDS, we don't think of AIDS anymore. We are now thinking of COVID. But there was a time when everyone was scared of COVID. We were scared of AIDS. We wouldn't touch a person who we thought might have had AIDS. And today, the UN has successfully fought AIDS, taking care of refugees. Refugees have always been a problem. Poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity anywhere. Why do refugees happen? Not only because of war, but also because of poverty. And the UN has been taking care of refugees. Lion Anthony Kurian Anthony also mentioned that I was there in the first Gulf War. I have seen how anybody can become a refugee. You and I can become a refugee. We don't realize it. The richest people from Kerala and other places in Kuwait suddenly became homeless. They came collecting whatever they could and crossing the desert. So it's good to see them eliminating child labor, labor reforms, development goals, and now the sustainable development goals that we have. And even concepts like 8 hours of work, 8 hours of rest, 8 hours of recreation, which is so much a part of our thinking, is because of an agency like the ILO, which is part of the UN. Who has not heard about the good work done by UNICEF, UNESCO, or for children? There used to be a time when New Year cards and Christmas cards were UNICEF cards. UNESCO on education and culture and heritage. WHO doing an excellent job today in the times of COVID. ILO in establishing global standards on and international laws on labor issues. UNAIDS, I spoke about that. UN Women on women's issues, gender equality, etc. There's so many of them. And towards development, from 2000 to 2015, we had the Millennial Development Goals, the MDGs. You might remember that. It may not have succeeded fully, but we traveled a long way. And today we have the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, which takes us even more forward. 60% of the UN's income is spent on development. And it has played a significant role in reducing poverty, reducing hunger. I'm not saying hunger has been destroyed, has been killed. It has reduced poverty. And today, this year, if the UNFPA, United Nations UNFPA has won the Nobel Peace Prize, it's richly deserving because hunger in the world has come down. Poverty to an extent in the food grain availability has gone up. So these are very important successes of the UN.